Welcome to Tseldora. This is the first area I didn't like much. This place is moderate in size, with the first part being a sort of camping filled with German tourists, as well as a bunch of pigs, like, I don't know. Those guys are using pigs instead of dogs. I guess why not? So here it's pretty easy. Just be careful not to get overwhelmed by the pigs or to get sniped by the archers, and you'll be fine. It's okay. For me, the biggest problem in this part, like the biggest problem in this area overall, is right here at the start. It's the first mimic encounter in the game. Now, mimics are always special in every Souls game, but here the problem is that first of all, you have to go down a secret path to find the mimic, and then even if you know that it is a mimic, you can still get caught by the grab of the mimic, because of the hitbox, which is really weird. So yeah, first mimic encounter in the game. This guy's main technique is to have an absolutely horrendous hitbox, and since he one-shots you after grabbing you, means you need to respect his 1 meter vital space in order to survive, which is kind of annoying if you want to kill him, and it's even more bad if you're stuck in a tiny room with it, which is happening right here. And it's weird, like, okay, first mimic encounter in the game, it's hidden away in a very tiny room with bad hitboxes. What is this? What is this? What are we doing here? No. For a first mimic encounter, you could do it the Dark Souls way. In Dark Souls, you go down a trapped elevator, and you're like, oh, surely this chest is absolutely normal, and nothing can make you think that this chest wouldn't be normal. And then, surprise, it's a mimic and you're dead. But the hitbox is like fine, because you actually get grabbed when you open the chest. Here, even if you don't open the chest and you just hit it, the animation still happens, and if you are like behind the chest, you will get caught. If you get slightly touched by the mimic when he goes out of his chest mode, you get caught and you get killed. What is this? What is this? No, it's just bad. So in a remake, they really need to change the hitboxes of the mimic when they go out of hidden mode, because it's just bad. Really bad. And I'm saying bad because I'm being polite, you know? And the worst part is you think that by going behind it, it's not going to catch you, but it still does. And then you get teleported into its mouth on the front, which, what the fuck are we doing? No. Yeah, so this is really, really, really bad. Like, this is the type of things that make you say, Dark Souls 2 is bad, it's the worst Souls game. Yeah, let's talk about what happens after, okay? Now, once you're done in the camping section, you'll have to fight a bunch of zombie peasants that are trying the Boulder Treatment, but they end up killing their own friends instead. I don't really know what they were doing here. Once you kill them all, or you let them get rolled over, you get to fight the absolute super hard boss that is Magnus, sorry. So this fight is just an absolute piece of cake. Magnus is as threatening as a summer ant, and the ads are as useless as your manager, and guess what? Mixing easy enemies with super easy enemies just makes a very easy fight. And calling this a boss fight is... like, that doesn't make sense. And I'm sorry, but when you have both the first mimic encounter and this in the same freaking area, I'm like, what were they thinking? Like, if you watch the previous videos, like, I talk about Shaded Woods and Pharaoh's Door. I love Pharaoh's Door because it's a little bit of trolling. I love Shaded Woods for the atmosphere, even if it's not perfect, as I said in said video. But here, at first, it starts good, and you get the mimic, and you get this. What? What? No. No. Okay. So, if we do a remake of this, okay? First, you fix the mimic, fix that hitbox, that animation, you fix that, okay? Then, this boss fight. You either remove the health bar, the boss health bar, because this doesn't deserve it, or you make it harder, more challenging, because here, it doesn't even last 40 seconds. Boss fights are supposed to last long to be challenging. If it's not challenging at all, it's just a regular enemy encounter, you know? The mimic deserves more a boss bar than this. Now, how do we make this fight harder and actually worthy of the title of boss? This boss is supposed to be a cult to the glory of the Duke's dear Freya. So we could expect some spiders or some Spider-Man guy in the middle of this. We come across Spider-Man guy, a zombie spider hybrid after. Why wouldn't they add one in this room? They're pretty tough as enemies, so maybe they could add this. So we still have the aspect of there's a bunch of people doing a cult, but it's more threatening. Or like you turn the legless zombies on the ground into something else. Because, imagine you play Minecraft, it's the first night, and there's a bunch of legless zombies crawling toward you, and they start tickling your foot, like that's not threatening at all. The only threatening enemies in this room are Magnus and the 2 mages next to it, except they don't have any health at all. The damages are alright, I guess, but even then Magnus, you see his attacks coming from a mile away, like no, this needs to be better. I think the best way, there are 2 ways. If you kill Magnus and the mages first, the rest of the room enrages, they become stronger and faster. Or the opposite. If you kill the rest of the room, the mages and Magnus become enraged, faster and stronger. For me, that would be a good way to go. You could add a few attacks to Magnus, and also make his health bar bigger. Please, please. He dies in 3 seconds here. What is this? Seriously. It's kind of crazy that you have the Royal Rat Authority in the previous area, and then you have this. What? Anyway, I just gave a bunch of ideas on how to fix this fight, but one thing is sure, it's bad as it is. It's too easy. No, it's not a boss fight, I'm sorry. They need to fix this if they do a remake, because right now it's just ridiculous. Now, for the second part of the area, you're going to fight a lot of spiders. None of them are hard to kill, there's just a bunch of them at the same time. They don't have a boss health bar, so I'm not going to talk much about them, because they're just fine as it is. Instead, we're going to focus on the environment, because none of the enemies in the second part are insanely challenging or insanely frustrating. They're fine as is, they work good. The flaws of the second part, for me, are in the level design, the environment. So this is supposed to be a mine. Like when you go to the bottom, you get to see a bunch of zombie peasants that are mining stuff. Here, it's weirdly put. I mean, it's a fantasy world, so I guess it's okay. You have a bunch of zip lines which are good, okay? I like it, but at the same time, we can't go back up from them. Maybe they could add some mechanics or some ways to go back up, because one thing that I hated about this area is every time you go down, and you're gonna go down a lot because there's a lot of hidden items here and there. If you want to go back up, you have to find the key to the locked room, which isn't very easy to get if you don't know precisely how to get it or to access it, which means you need to use a bone every time or you need to die to respawn up there. I just found that pretty bad. Then you can go down very fast down this area. It's very short, and it's a thing I already said in previous videos about a lot of areas. Apart from the Lost Bastille and the Forest of Fallen Giants, all the other areas are really short, which isn't bad if you take like No Man's Wharf. It's fine, it works as it is. But when you split an area into 3 and every section is really short, it's like a missed opportunity. Instead of splitting it into 3 areas, you could keep just one area, and by one area I mean one design, one level design, 1 or 2 mechanics, and expand upon them, you know, bring variation to them. Here, they split the area in 3, just like Shaded Woods, and the mechanics, you don't have really much time to explore them, to use them, get used to them, which isn't a bad thing if it happens once, but when it happens all the time, it kind of feels like you miss something. And here, we could have gotten like a giant mine that goes very deep down, with a lot more zip lines, a lot more shortcuts to unlock to go back up, a lot more variations in enemies, in enemy design, because, okay, so what do we got in this area in enemy design? The first mimic, okay? The Fauconeers, the little pigs, zombie peasants, spiders, Spider-Man guys, and I guess the necromancers, sort of wizards. More variations of spider enemies could have been cool, but even then you don't have to bring thousands of different enemies, but just make the area longer and more interesting in terms of design. Because here it's basically like, okay, so we have a pit. At the bottom of this pit we have like quicksand, because I don't know why there's quicksand, but why not? And then you have 2 zip lines, and that's it. The area it's really short and it's not complicated at all, and it's not bad, but it feels like a missed opportunity, honestly. So yeah, on the first travel it's good, I kinda like the atmosphere, but after a bunch of rerun of going back and forth, it just gets annoying. And once you're done, you can just walk to the last part of the area and go to the boss. Now, let's talk about the final part of the area. So you start by entering a building filled with spiders. Can seem overwhelming at first, but they're not bad to fight, so you just kill them. Then you go down, and there's a lot of big spider webs everywhere, which I really liked. This specific room, I really liked it in terms of design and atmosphere. It's good. You go down, a bunch of spiders, then you enter the fog wall, and this is where you fight Freya. I'd like to add something. What I love about this final path before the boss is not just the design and atmosphere, it's also the fact that it foreshadows what you're going to fight. It's gigantic spider webs, you fight the giant spiders. Makes sense. Spider enemies all throughout the level, a cult with people that are after infected with spiders. It all connects together, it all makes sense. And I like this a lot, and I wish it was more present in other parts of the game. Take the Shaded Woods, for example. What do we have here for Nashka and the sand in Nashka's area? Man, Scorpion, Dark, and that's it. Why? You're making us fight a bunch of Cursed Jar and Minotaurs, which for me links to Greek mythology, so maybe we could fight Greek mythology type of being, like a chimera. So yeah, I guess a woman mixed with the scorpion in two tails. I don't really know if it directly refers to Greek mythology, but maybe it gets some inspiration from it. But at the same time, you have no sand before that, no scorpion enemies. It's kind of out of place, and I said that in the Shaded Woods video. Here, in the Duke vs Freya boss fight, it's foreshadowed. You can see it coming, which adds to the boss fight. The pursuer, you can see the eagle fly above and you see him dropping a first pursuer before finding him at the end of the Forest of Fallen Giants. It's nice, and it's kind of like the two bosses for which it happens, and it's sad. When you hear about the boss before fighting him, it hypes it up, it ups the tension, it makes you wonder what you're going to fight, it makes you excited for the fight. And that helps make the fight better. Even if the fight is not that great, it still makes it better in a way. And I wish this was more present in Dark Souls 2. They didn't make the same mistake twice. Well, I guess bosses aren't that much foreshadowed in Bloodborne. But if you take Elden Ring, you hear about Godric before fighting Godric. You hear about the Renala, you hear about all the demigods before fighting them, which I think is really great. Not the case in Dark Souls 2. Well, I guess you're not fighting demigods all the time. But for example, the Lost Sinner, it's one of the main bosses theoretically in the story. You don't hear about it before actually fighting her, which is sad. And I guess you could argue that she's supposed to be like a forgotten character, but maybe we could get some text here and there talking about her without saying that she's imprisoned there. So, you know, we're like, okay, there's this character, and then we make the link when we fight her, and oh, it's this character that they were talking about it before. But it's not happening. It doesn't happen. And that's unfortunate. Now, other than that, the fight it's good. I fought her so many times in Night Rain. I was kinda scared she was going to be not bad, because in Night Rain she isn't bad, but the fight can be long sometimes and a bit tedious. Here, well, since I upgraded my weapon kind of a lot, it was actually not that bad. I guess if you have a weak weapon, you're not going to deal a lot of damage, and so the fight is going to be a bit longer. It wasn't the case. In terms of design, it's amazing. Big spider, but the legs are the biggest parts. And she has two faces, you can damage both, you cannot damage the rest of the body. If you deal 2 damage to one head, the head drops and you are forced to attack the other head while dodging the attacks she lands at you. Honestly, in terms of design and mechanics, it's an amazing boss. Honestly, it's really great. And the foreshadowing before the fight, this creature has everything as a main story boss. It is one of the main story bosses. The main story bosses are the Lost Sinner, the Duke vs Freya, the Old Iron King, and the Rotten. Okay? And only Duke vs Freya is that good, honestly. The design, the lore, the foreshadowing, it's really good. The music is really good. As for the fight itself, it's not the best boss fight of all time, but for a Dark Souls 2 boss, it works, and I think it is good. So I want to say that this fight, up until this point, is the best boss in the game. And I'm saying this because for the next boss fights, if I'm referring to the best boss fight of Dark Souls 2, for now I'm referring to this, before we meet a better boss, of course, and there are better bosses. You just, like, you pick Fume Knights or alone, but there are endgame DLC bosses, so it's kind of complicated, you know, to compare them with early game bosses. But here, I think this boss makes the interior area much better. Opposite to Magnus, which makes the interior area kinda worse. My initial thought of turning Magnus into a non-boss fight, into just a regular encounter, I think I prefer it now that I think about it. So yeah, overall, if you fix the Mimic in the first part, you make Magnus not a boss, it's not a boss anymore, and change the final part, the mines, to make it maybe it goes deeper or it's larger, you add more ways to go down and up, and then you get yourself a really good area. So yeah, to conclude, I didn't like the area that much, but thanks to the Duke vs Freya at the end, it saves Tseldora from the bottom of the list, basically. It's not the worst area in the game, thanks to Duke vs Freya, and well, as you'll see in the next videos, there are far worse areas than this. Yeah, honestly, I'm giving it like 7 out of 10, just because Freya is just that good. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you around for the next time. Bye!